In lecture 9, we will study the back axle or the live rear axle. The diagram shows the live rear axle of front engine means the engine is in front, and rear driven automobile. Rear driven means that the drive is coming to the rear axle automobile. The differential is not shown so as to make things clear to you. Drive from the propeller shaft. This is the propeller shaft. Engine is here somewhere. This is the propeller shaft through the universal joint to the pinion. Connects to the pinion shaft. This is the pinion shaft, which is supported in bearings in the axle casing. This is the axle casing. This hole is the axle casing, and this is the bearing shown. This is the bearing, supported with bearing in the axle casing. The crown wheel, as you have already studied extensively, we have studied this arrangement in the last lecture. I am repeating it for your benefit to understand. This is the crown wheel, the ring wheel or crown wheel, ring gear, crown wheel is meshed with the bevel pinion. And the crown wheel is mounted on the half shafts of the drive which is going to the wheels. The wheels are here. One wheel is here. Here only one half shaft is shown. Actually, we have not shown the differential. It will be one will start from here. I mean, pencil I have marked it, and the other one will be this half. Here it is shown only one. The weight of the body of the vehicle and the load of the passengers is supported load due to occupants is transmitted through the springs to the axle casing. Now, the springs are mounted to the axle casing. If you have gone to a workshop, by the means the general arrangement is there are U-bolts. This is the axle, let's say this axle, the U-bolts, and the springs are mounted. The two spring ends, let's say this is the spring, these are U-bolts, the spring ends or the eyes are mounted on the chassis. Various arrangements are there which we will study ahead. So, the weight of the body and the load due to occupants is transmitted through the springs. This needs to be remembered to understand the drives which will come ahead. It's transmitted through the springs, from the springs to the axle casing. Remember this, it does not come directly to the axle casing but through the road springs. These details we will understand in suspension system in the future lectures, but remember this, always it comes through the spring, the weight of the body and even for other forces. Axle casing, I think I've covered all this. This is the wheel shown. One other wheel is right here. Now, I was mentioning these are the springs. They are shown here in the figure. They are mounted through U-bolts. Their U-bolts are not shown. This is the, let's say, the propeller shaft coming, and two wheels, one wheel will be here, one wheel will be here. Notice that the wheels are outside and the springs is inside. The wheels are outside and the road springs are inside of the wheel at a short distance from the wheels. Remember that. Now, let us see the various forces and torques experienced by the rear axle. What are the various forces experienced by this axle? First is the weight of the body. As I mentioned, it comes through the spring to the axle. Now, the weight of the body can be we are talking about the rear axle. rear axle drive. So if W is the weight of the vehicle, including the occupants who are sitting inside, the total weight, gross weight of the vehicle running on the road. So W by 2 here, W by 2, and the axle can be considered as a beam for study purposes. So this will be that, and as I said, the wheels are outside. So this R1 and R2 are the reaction of the wheels. Let's read it. Rear axle may be considered a beam supported at ends, and is loaded at 2 points as shown in the diagram through the spring. Because springs are here, therefore we have to take these 2 points. R1 and R2, this is where the wheels are, so we take this center point of V, center point of V. The rear weight W of the body, rear weight, some of the weight is in the front part of the body also, we are considering the rear weight. In fact, most of the weight generally is about 40-60. The rear weight W of the body is transmitted to the rear axle through 2 suspension springs, as I explained. R1 and R2 are the reaction forces from the road wheels. One road wheel, one. This weight causes shear forces and bending in the axle shaft. Naturally, one weight is here, reaction is here, so there will be bending force here, it will try to shear here, it will try to shear here. The shear forces and bending forces are developed on the axle casing. The second force is the driving thrust. Let us see what is the driving thrust. The driving torque, the engine produces driving torque, produced by the engine, causes the thrust to be produced in the road wheels through the complete train. That is from the gearbox to the propeller shaft to this differential. From differential 90 degrees it goes to the wheels, which has to be transmitted from the axle casing to chassis frame and body of the vehicle. So this driving torque has to be coming through the springs to the axle casing, and from the axle casing to the chassis frame. Now how do we connect? That means the axle casing has to be connected to the chassis frame and body weight. This is done by a member connecting the axle casing and chassis frame. Chassis frame, the chassis is here, which chassis is not shown. This is axle, the driving torque is produced, thrust is produced, and this has to be conveyed to the, rather means body को धक्का देना है आगे बढ़ने के लिए. ठीक है, for the wheels also are getting the job, but the whole body has to be made to move. The thrust has to be given to the vehicle as well as the chassis. In the longitudinal direction, the vehicle is like this, in the longitudinal, not the transverse direction, longitudinal direction, called thrust members or radius rods. Thrust comes and it's connected to the chassis and of course the body, and the body is connected to the chassis. So these thrust rod, the thrust will come from the axle to the chassis and chassis to the body, and the way it will help the vehicle to move forward. Now let's come to the third type of force, a torque reaction. Now all these are important, these will be used in the next lecture, remember that. Torque reaction. Now let us, to understand that, let us say we hold both the rear wheels, हम उसको पकड़ के रखें. Drive is coming from the propeller shaft. If this wheel, let's say, is held and not allowed, drive आ रही है, propeller shaft is rotating, engine is on, and it's trying to make it come. The drive is coming, but we are not allowing the road wheel to move. What will happen? This bevel pinion, since this is rotating, this will rotate over this crown wheel. They are in mesh. ये इसके ऊपर चढ़ेगा और इसके ऊपर घूमेगा. Already चढ़ा तो हुआ है, but it will rotate over it, revolve over it. try to understand. You have to visualize. Drive coming. This is kept. This is just to understand. And if this is not allowed to move, this will be. So, see that the bell, this tendency is also when the vehicle is running also, even when the vehicle is running, when the wheels are moving, it will be, this tendency is there. Thus, there is a force on the axle casing which is trying to, since this is trying to revolve over it, it will try to rotate this axle. It will try to, this whole axle casing will try to rotate. Try to visualize, this will rotate because this is, now we are allowing the wheels to move, it will rotate. This is called the torque reaction. The tendency of the axle casing to rotate is called the torque reaction. And what will happen, we will study in the next lecture. You should know that this is a force, and when we study the various drives, Hotchkiss drive, torque tube drive, this will be used. Similarly, when you brake, the braking torque will be, this is rotating, it will in the opposite direction, the axle will try to rotate in the opposite direction when you brake it. When you accelerate, it will, let's say, this way. When you brake, it will be anti-clockwise, the other opposite direction. In the same way, braking torque or axle casing is opposite in direction. There is a fourth force also, which is called the side thrust. Often, the rear axle experiences side thrust or pull due to any side load. For example, the cornering force. When you corner a vehicle, take a turn, there is a side thrust acting on the wheels, and this is called the cornering force. So, to cater to this force, we use a panhard rod. Side thrust. So, this is connected to this is the chassis. This is the panhard rod. This was the radius rod for giving thrust. Panhard rod is used to take on the side thrust due to cornering force or due to any other reason. There may be a huge storm blowing a huge side wind which is trying to topple the vehicle over or try hitting on the body. That also, at that time also, this will be come into play. So this is generally employed to hold the axle in position. The body will try to topple, the axle will try to rotate. If there is a strong crosswind or other forces, as I explained, this keeps the axle in position against the side thrust. So these are the four forces. Now remember, next lecture, rear axle drives, they're called the Hotchkiss and torque tube drives. These are very interesting and very important also. Drives, remember, you have to remember these four forces. Revise them before you come for the next lecture. See the next lecture, which will be used to explain the Hotchkiss drive and the torque tube drive. You should understand these. So this covers this lecture 9. So in lecture 10, we will come to the rear axle drive, the Hotchkiss and the torque tube drive. Thank you.